Good afternoon and welcome once again to Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien, healing one heart at a time. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasant afternoon, and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to to my channel. Just don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the content or the footage or videos that I will be uploading through my channel. God bless you as you tune in. God bless you as you listen. And I pray that the messages that or the content that I have to share today will empower you, and I pray that it will motivate you and uplift you, and especially hoping that it'll help you identify the certain areas that you need clarification on. So, right, let's get down to business. The topic that I'm going to be discussing today is being used in a relationship and how to identify being used in a relationship. Now, it's a very sensitive topic. Like I said, I'm going to be concentrating a lot on, relationships between husband and wife, between, partners, between boyfriend and girlfriend, especially when it comes to the long-term type of relationships. That's what I'm going to be talking about. And I just hope that with my experiences, you are able to, gain a lot of knowledge and make an informed decision as to how best to move forward in your relationship, or how best to perhaps liberate yourself from that situation if there is a need for it. So, if you hear any sounds again, once again, I'm going to make a disclaimer. If you hear any sounds in the background, I do apologize. I live in a complex, so there's a lot of screaming children, squawking birds, screeching tires, engine starting, wailing children, you name it. So when you live in a complex, expect any kind of sounds. And until I get the proper equipment, this will have to do for now. Right, so an intimate conversation with Francis O'Brien, we're talking about being used in a relationship. Now, I had to give my life story first so that you understood who I was and where I came from and what my experiences were. Now I'm going to delve into the relationship part, and hopefully with the rest of the content that I'll also be giving, I'll be also giving a lot about my relationship. Now, coming out of the relationship, at least 2 years out of the relationship, praise the Lord. I'm 2 years out of that relationship, single, ready to mingle. And it's been I can't say great, it's been a transformative process. Transformative in the sense that there's a lot of digging, there is a lot of soul searching, there's a lot of scrubbing, there's a lot of realities that you have to deal with. There's a lot of truths that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to face that you are forced to face, especially when God now intervenes in your case and He really wants to liberate you from a very painful experience. Now, the relationship that I had with my ex was at least a period of 14 years. 14 years, I must tell you. I can't tell you they were blissful. They weren't. There's nothing really that I can flash back on and say, oh my God, that was an amazing time, which is very sad. And that should speak volumes. So if you're in your relationship now, there should be a point where you sit down and think, what exactly do I appreciate about this person? What exactly do they add to my life? What do I add to their lives? Now, in this case, as women are natural nurturers. So it's natural for us, so it's instinctive for us to always want to be on the giving side. It's only now when we feel with the 50-50 thing and we want to be liberated that we feel that no, whatever I do is with my money, it's my time and I do what I want, and then disrespect to a certain extent kind of creeps in. But there's nothing wrong with you taking care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with you putting yourself first. But unfortunately, most times in relationships, we have a tendency to always put the other person's or our partner's needs above our own. And then we just tell ourselves, maybe I'll solve my problem in later, or perhaps I'll sort my issue out at a later stage. So as a result, you put your dreams at the back, you put your vision at the back, you put your needs at the back just to please this person. Now, this is the reason why I had to explain and talk about my relationship in terms with my father, in terms of how I felt like I was rejected by him. And as a result, I feel as women, especially women who never grew with a father figure, you are looking for a lot of approval from the opposite sex. You're looking for a lot of acceptance from the opposite sex. And the moment you get one person, just because, and I'm sorry to be blunt, but just because he has male genitalia, or doesn't make him a man. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of factors that contribute into a male being a man. Now, a lot of men out there are boys. I don't have to elaborate on that. And a lot of boys out there are men. So I guess it just depends on people's experiences. It depends on people's morals, values, principles, standards, faith. All of that plays an integral part in forming an individual, either male or female. Right, now to come back to the topic, we're talking about being used in a relationship. And I'm going to obviously I'm delving this content from my own experience. Now, in this relationship, it's very difficult to tell when somebody uses you, especially at the initial stages of the relationship, because everybody is wearing their best, their best outfit, their best behavior is put on, their attitudes are put to the back seat. They don't show you who they really are. You don't understand them on a financial standpoint. You don't understand their morals as yet. You don't understand their values as yet. You don't understand their faith. So you guys are still getting to know each other. And obviously, there's a lot that you guys are kind of pussyfooting around, or you're walking on eggshells around because you don't want to offend the other person and you want to make the other person feel comfortable. Past that stage, right? Now, for me, I don't like passing that stage. Now I'm at a stage where I really pay attention to all the small details right from the initial get go. And I guess the older you become as well, women, you realize that just putting up a facade or putting up a face, it doesn't benefit you any longer. You just want to get to it, and let's just be honest about where we are, either from a financial standpoint, an emotional standpoint, a mental standpoint, a psychological standpoint, an intellectual standpoint. You just want to lay the cards on the table, especially when you're a mature woman. Now, I'm talking, these videos actually are also meant for mothers to have their daughters sit with them and watch this content, because they need to listen to how it is when a woman experiences the negative side of life and the consequences of making certain decisions. It's very important, women, that, or fathers, if you do listen to me, for your daughters to be aware that there are these kinds of men out there that have a predatory nature. So it's really important that you listen to people outside, and there's many motivational people on social media that you could follow. Have the discernment. I think that God will give you to ascertain whether somebody is really genuine or not genuine. But anyway, moving along, you'll never really know when a person is using you or not. And with our nurturing instinct as women, we always get to a point where we want to do the best for the other person. Now, in my case, as with every other case, you don't know who this person is, and you're all trying to get to know each other. Now, the challenge that I had was that it was an intercultural relationship, and it was a cross country type of relationship. What I mean by that is, he's from a different country, I'm from a different country. I'm from a different culture, he's from a different culture. Now, he's used to, as a West African, he's used to a very, very strong male presence that is oppressive over the female, over female. So I'm not used to that. I'm used to, yes, there is a degree of submission, but also, like I said, not having a male figure, it's very difficult to also have a submissive nature to a male presence that was never really there and that you never really emulated from, whether it's from your mom watching your dad, or an aunt, with an uncle, whatever the case is. So anyway, this person came obviously into my life, and you get to see the person's challenges as time goes on. You get to understand each other's weaknesses, and then you think, people who use are very, You must be wary because they're very clever in what it is that they do. They're very tactful. Because people who use, first of all, what you must understand is they study you first. You don't study them. The reason why you don't study them, I'll tell you why, is because you are genuine and you have a pure heart. So you don't necessarily see the reasons for you to study the person because you feel what you're giving is what you're getting. And that's not necessarily the case. And unfortunately, as life grooms you, you realize that it's very important to study the other person, irrespective of you being in a happy relationship or you being in a not so happy relationship. You must study the other person. Not study to be vindictive or manipulative or vengeful, no, but study to protect yourself, to know whether or not you're going to continue with this person or not continue with this person. If you see me touching my face a lot, it's because I'm used to wearing glasses, so it feels a bit awkward. So my eyes kind of dot here and there because I'm trying to. But anyway, people wear glasses, you understand what I'm saying. So the person who uses you actually understands you. They know what ticks you off. They know what presses your buttons. They know your likes and your dislikes. I promise you, they make it a mission for them to understand you. Then they will know when your peak periods are in terms of you having a high moment or you having a low moment. They're very good with that. That is a manipulative and a deceptive spirit, which is something that us as women need to pray against so that we are not easily fed or led into these relationships with these individuals, in my case, into these men that have these kinds of powerful manipulative spirits. Now, obviously, with you getting to know each other, you will not mission when it comes to you. You won't know their mission. You won't know their assignment when it comes to you. Remember, a user sees you as a tool. That's as part of also a narcissistic tendency. They see you as a tool, a means to an end. When they see you as a person that can solve their problem for whatever it is that's happening in their life. Now, the clever thing is, so one, they see you as a tool. And it's very difficult for you to know that you're being used. I'll tell you why it's difficult. Say, for instance, you're in a relationship and you guys are very comfortable and you're happy, or so you think. Then your partner gets into some kind of a problem, whether it's a financial jam, maybe he wants to start a business, like in my case. So I'll always refer to me because I know what I'm talking about. So your partner will probably, or maybe even his rent is short. Maybe perhaps you guys aren't staying together, and then maybe he's fallen short on his rent, or maybe on one utility bill or another. And then he will just plant the seed and say, oh, I don't know how I'm going to make it this month because I'm not able to pay my rent. And it's always going to be something extremely important. Remember, a user will never use you for something that is small. Some yes, some no. Some can really identify you and think, I can really benefit or milk this potential cow. So number two, a user will use you for something that they know is big in their lives that you cannot deny them. So for instance, rent. If they do not have money for rent, the potential of them being kicked out is very high. That's one. Two, if they can't afford to pay any of their utilities, perhaps they had a problem. Maybe a family member died, or maybe they had to fund a relative for something, or one thing or the other, or maybe business went bad and they didn't have enough resources. So it's always going to be something extremely important to that person. Now, the thing is, sometimes they don't even show you, most times they don't show you the proof of them falling short or of them not being able to meet their financial commitments. Very rarely do they show you, which is point number three. You never really have proof. You never really have proof. It's so sad how much we as women overlook. We just take it for granted because we're so in love and we're blinded by that emotion that we never really see the proof, or we never look to or care enough to look for the proof that this person has displayed. So they will ask you for that loan, and obviously as they plant that seed, it now works on your conscience. So when you're alone at home and you're thinking, oh shame, my babe, he needs to pay his rent, and if he doesn't, he'll get kicked out, and that's not a good thing. So let me see if I can perhaps get a loan, or maybe I can tap from my savings. That's what you'll do. Now, because the user knows you, like I said, they study you first. Because he knows you, he will know that this is going to play on your conscience, it's going to play on your emotions, which is another thing. We also are, as women, led by our emotions. So You'll come up the next day and think, you know what, babe, I have a solution. I'll be able to help you. Then it's going to be like, really, babe? Really? Are you for real? Wow, thank you so much. Like, you're so amazing. You're my angel. And, they'll really treat you and they'll spoil you and stuff like that. Some of the tricks that our men use is a very good session in bed. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how old this trick is in the book. And women, like even myself, still fell for it. Still fell for it. You have to get to a point, ladies, where you understand that sex is good, but it's not that good. If it's going to compromise all of my morals and my values, if it's going to put me in a position of loss, if it's going to put me in a deficit, whether it's emotional, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, whether it's psychological, or spiritual for that matter, it doesn't matter. Sex should never be that good. If anything, this is why I really am beginning to understand why God says no sex before marriage. Now, this is not to say that even though you're one of those women that maintain the no sex before marriage, you might still be going through the same thing, even though that's different. That's another topic for another day. I'm just talking about, general women. Now, you will come back and you'll give the Lord and you're like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh, you're a star. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. That's what? Project number one. It may wait 2 weeks, depending on how good he is at his game. It may be 3 weeks, it may be a month, it may be 2 months. Another problem will creep up. Babe, my mama's sick or my uncle's sick, and I don't have one, two, three, which is in my case, was also, the same thing. You think, oh, shame. And, at that point, maybe they're working and they don't have enough income, or maybe they're not even working, but you just take the sympathetic role on this person. You think, no, you know what? I'm in a position to assist you. So, you know what I'll do? I will assist you. In all this time, ladies, unfortunately, that you are investing in this person, you are depreciating from investing in yourself, which is a really crucial part because you should be investing in yourself. There are projects that you could be coming up with. There are books you could potentially write. There are, arts and crafts that you could delve into that you didn't even know that you were probably good at. There are hobbies that you could, throw yourself into and polish your art and your craft or polish your skill, whatever it is. But now, because of love and the desperation of not wanting to be single or being known to be single, you throw yourself into a project. The project being the man. And you fix him up and you polish him up and you make him look good. You know why? Because you are investing in marriage. That is your mindset as a woman. You're investing in marriage, you're investing in a relationship, you're investing in a whole package. He's not viewing you as that. Remember, I said he sees you as a tool. He's not seeing you as that. You're a means to an end. He's probably somebody that has just got a lot of financial problems and has just seen you as the cash cow or the fool that he can milk from. It's so painful. And I have passed this and I completely understand it. And at that time, you don't see it because what you're doing is you are in a sympathetic mindset. You've completely assessed his situation. You understand that he's not able to provide for you because he's not working or because he's not making enough money. So you sympathize, stroke, understand. You look at him that he's a man with potential, that he's got good morals, or he's a very good person. He doesn't cheat on me. He's very faithful. Even if the man is faithful or he's not faithful, a user is a user both ways. Faithful or not faithful. If he's there to use you, he's there to use you. Like I said, you're just a tool, stroke, a means to an end. Now, after the sympathetic role and your understanding of this man's totality in terms of his package as a human being or as a man in your life, then you take it upon yourself to be a Messiah. Now, we've heard different versions of this where we think as women we can change these men. That's another topic in terms of changing a man who's unfaithful to being a man who's faithful. I'm now talking about a man who has a hell-bent mission to use you. And unfortunately, when you are being used by a man, this is the disadvantage. It strips you, when you find out, it strips you of your self-worth. It strips you of your dignity. There's many things that I actually wrote here. I actually have notes, so I'll be glancing here and there. It strips you of your self-esteem, your self-worth. You feel incredibly disrespected. How somebody close to you could have done something so evil, I would say, to you. And it's a rough thing. Ladies, it's a very rough thing to get over. It's incredibly difficult. And it's going to take an incredible amount of grace on your part and the grace of God to really work on you. And you have to allow him to work on you to heal from this when you come to the realization. But anyway, so now you'll he comes back with problem number three, because I've given you two. Comes back with problem number three. Now the thing is, how they're clever is they can't do it back to back to back to back, because you'll pick it up really quick. What another thing is that does of the user is when they do for you, or when it's their turn to kind of assist you, it's never really anything big. If you really sit down and you think about it, it's like, but I could have done that myself. It's never a big thing compared to what you do for them, because what you do is over and above what they've actually requested. You actually surpass their requests. And when it comes to your turn, please could you help me do this? It's two things. Either the person will help you but won't meet your needs totally, or they just won't help you at all. It'll be like, but babe, I don't have money. I can't help you at this particular point. So I'm very sorry. I hope you understand. And naturally, as a woman, you will understand. Okay, no, babe, it's fine. I get it. It's a bit difficult for you and it's a bit challenging. So I understand. It's okay. I'll see what I'll do. And they leave it to you to sort out your own mess. At the same time, they leave it to you to sort out their own mess. Ladies, we need to be cognizant. We really need to be sharp, especially when it comes to these guys. And I promise you, Nair, guys, there are guys out there that really have a gift and a knack for understanding women. And the thing is, when you come across as a woman, when you come across as extremely desperate or needy or clingy, they latch onto that energy that you've given out, and they manipulate it and they twist it to work in their favor. And you really have to be careful, ladies. You have to guard your hearts. You absolutely have to guard your hearts. So with me, it was the same thing. I funded trips. I funded, it's simple stuff. Even if it's engagements or anniversaries or birthday parties or whatever dates that you guys have marked for yourselves. And you find that you're the one that's always doing and always doing. And when you do it over and above. Those are warning bells. I can't tell you enough how that is a warning bell. It's only after as years pass, then I realized, but I'm the one who's always doing the birthdays and buying the gifts. I'm the one who's always caring about Christmas. I'm the one who's always caring about trips and going out. I'm the one who's always like, when we go out, even if it's for normal dinner, I'm the one who whips out the card and pays. And then, when I actually got my alarm, when something really went ping, as if all of those were not ping, 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 ping issues or episodes. When it was his birthday, he took me to Burger King. When it was his birthday, I actually had to book a restaurant for dinner. It was so exclusive. I got taken to Burger King. Women know your worth. Burger King is like, you're tired, you're from work, you don't want to cook, you pass through a fast food joint, and you're like, let me just get me something to eat, because I'm too tired to stand at the stove. Burger King's not a birthday place for a grown-ass woman. That's how you take your kids. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful that I can actually laugh, because this was not funny when you're going through it. It's not funny. Know your worth. Know your worth. That's the only thing I can emphasize. Know your worth. You'd be surprised how you can spoil yourself. And you date somebody and they can't even meet what you do for yourself. That is a problem. This is why I understand when a lot of motivational speakers say never settle. Never settle. That doesn't mean become bitchy in the process. No, I'm not saying be a bitch. I'm not saying be a diva. No. They're really genuine guys out there. He may not have enough money to meet your needs, but he's actually a good guy. There are guys who are like that. So don't just go dismissing everybody. And know your worth. Know your value. If you value yourself more than somebody values you, it's a problem. That's when you know it's a problem. I can't tell you. It goes simply to things like, if you can afford to buy yourself an expensive perfume and they buy you the generic of it, that's a problem. And I pass that. It's unbelievable. The things that we accommodate and the things that we settle, all in the name of having a man in your life. So you'll find yourself solving problems By the time they leave you, you are all strung up, you are high and dry, your chances of you having high blood pressure are very high, chances of you having an incredible amount of stress are very high, migraines become your best friend because you can't sleep at night because you're doing endless mathematics, trying to figure out how you're going to pay for 1, 2, and 3 because all of these things are suddenly, and at the end of the day, funny enough, you still don't feel like you put yourself in that trap. You still feel like it's normal to be in that situation because you were doing it to help somebody out of the goodness of your heart. There's nothing wrong with doing something to help somebody out of the goodness of your heart as long as it doesn't cripple you. That's the thing. It should never cripple you. It should never cripple you. A man should only get to a point where he asks you for your help when it's really severe. I'm not encouraging stinginess, but when you've really been burnt bad, like in my case, you really tend to be very cautious. And that's the only thing I can really preach at this moment to ladies is please be very cautious. Be very cautious the next time you get into a relationship. Not all men are manipulators, not all men are users, but you really have to be cautious. I can't say it enough. I can't emphasize it enough. You have to be extremely cautious when you come across these men. You're now stuck clad with all of these commitments and this financial burden. Watch the person when you now tell them, I'm in a rut and I need help. Well, there's nothing I can do. You know my situation, so it is what it is. Dismissal number 1. Number 2 is, so how are we going to do this? At the end of the day, you're not providing me a solution. You're giving me a mirage of thinking that you're supporting me. Meanwhile, you're supporting me verbally. You're not supporting me financially. It's a verbal form of support. Hello, the situation that I'm in was partially contributed by you, so you should be also helping me find a way. This is you in your mind. But because you want to be nice, you don't say it. You only begin to open your mouth when you really have gotten to sunken so low in your life that you begin to lash out. When somebody backs you up in a corner so bad, the only thing you can do, apart from cowering to the ground, is standing up and pushing back. And it's exactly what I did. Because now I'm telling you that we are in a problem. We are in a financial rut, and you're bouncing it back to me to tell me what are we going to do. But I asked you first. So you're the man. I'm assuming you're the man, and that's the mistake. You still continue putting this title on this individual when they've repetitively shown you that they cannot live up to that title. They are not living up to that title, and they never will, especially when it comes to you. They never will. So, at the end of the day, the onus is on you. You're the one who has to sit and still find the solution. You're the one who still has to dig yourself out of that pit that you partially put yourself in. And this is where we also pay the price for being nurturers. Learn to nurture yourself first as a woman, and then second person to nurture would be your husband. Your husband, not your boyfriend. There's a difference. There are some people who have really gone through the rut together and then they've end up married, and the guy is like probably paying, quote unquote, paying back because his woman was there for him and she was his ride or die. Those are very isolated cases, and it's very few. Very few. So a lot of us as chicks try to prove that we're ride or die. Anything that happens, babe, I got your back. I'm here for you. This is what I'm here. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to make you a better man. I'm going to prove to you that I'm a solid wife. First of all, do you not ask yourself if this person is thinking, what makes you think I'm going to make you my wife? But because we are so blinded, we already see the marriage. We see the wedding vows. We see the life together. But you're on your own. You are literally on your own in this dream. People who use you don't see what you see. They only see what they see. They only see their lives. They only see how they solve their problems or how they use you to solve their problems. It's a very complicated, and it's such a twisted thing because this manipulation is so quiet and it builds up and you don't see it. It takes months. It takes that building to years. And you will run a mortgage, you will buy a car for your guy, you will run up your credit for your guy, you will carry loans for this guy, you will dress this guy. I've passed all of that, and you're doing it with the best intentions, When it comes to you, you get substandard. You get such substandard um, reciprocity. It makes you almost very angry. It makes you very angry. And you get to a point where you lash out and you shout to say, but why would you do this? Why would you pay me back this way? Or why would you give me this, which is substandard? Let me give you an example. Classic example, which I was actually discussing with my mom not too long ago. You know, ne, I felt that this guy really loved me. My ex, that is. He bought me a ring. Now, there's this general assumption that Dubai has the best of gold. But the first thing is, when a guy really respects you, ladies, or he appreciates you, or he loves you and he values you, when you talk, he listens. And you'll be very surprised. And I'll tell you why, how you will know. He will actually do the most random thing at the most random time, exactly the way you like stroke want it. Let me give you an example. Say, for instance, you tell a guy, I like these kinds of flowers, and then he doesn't buy you flowers for a long time. But when he does, he buys you the exact type of flower that you like in the exact color that you like. That's a very small example I'm giving. Now, for me, I used to explain many times, I don't like these kinds of rings. I like this kind of ring. Now, he brought me the thing I hate the most, which is a specific design of ring. And he buys that ring and he tells me it's gold. Now I look at this ring, it's an engagement ring and a wedding band. So I'm looking at the ring and it's looking all faded and I'm thinking, bruh, are you sure this is legit? Then the Dubai story came out. Yeah, no, we got pure gold. I give it 1.5 months. The ring started fading on the inside and it turned from gold to copper. If you know that you love me, you would buy me the best of quality, the rarest of things, because you want your woman to stick out. So you were not listening when I told you the type of ring that I liked. That's number one. Then you bought me a low quality copper ring. I mean, you bought me a gold plated ring. I remember when it faded, I just looked at it and I'm like, is this how much you value me? I took off the ring and I gave it back. What a user does when they give you these substandard things, they do these things to while up time. So if you, let me just use numbers just to make to make it easy to understand. If you give 10,000, they will give you 2,000. If you give 15,000, they'll give you 3,000. All that does is it just pushes time, and they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger requests from you, and they keep putting you into a deeper and deeper and deeper mess for you to deal with on your own. That's what a user does. When he meets you halfway, it's just to keep time going by. And when he does these low quality things, it's because he wants you to understand that he's not in a position to give you the best that you want. He's doing the best that he can. There's a difference, lady, between a man that genuinely is doing the best that he can and one who is just not even throwing in any effort. There's a huge difference. Huge. And you need the discernment to understand the difference between the two. So those are the things that, some of our users, or some of our users, oh, God forbid, some of the users, and what they do to us. And the honest thing is, this also goes on only relationships, even with your friends or with colleagues and stuff like that. They will always come to you for a favor, but when it comes to your turn, and sometimes you're that personality that never really asks for anything, and when you do, it's actually legit that you need help. But you never get the help that you really need. But when it comes to them, they only approach you when it comes for help. You just see the person calling, hey, after some months, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to check up and see if you're cool and stuff like that. And you think, oh no, great, what's up? Long time, I haven't heard from you in a while. Ah, yeah, life is so and so, just going through challenges. And then the bomb drops. Hey, I was just thinking, I'm just going through something, I need your help. It's always the same thing. Like, it's the old trick in the book. We need to be strong enough to say, I'm sorry, I cannot help you at this particular point. Why? I'm going through a particular project. I'm also having a challenge, so I cannot meet your need at this moment. But I really do wish you the best in what it is you're going through. And I look forward to hearing more of you or more from you. You will see how that little ice bucket you threw is going to completely diffuse them because you have given the user a response they never expected from you. That's one. Always find a way to counter their response. Never put yourself in a position where you're always the one providing. It depletes you emotionally, financially, psychologically, and mentally. It depletes. Believe you me, it depletes. Right. So even if it's emotional support, say for instance you're going through something bad and like, you know what, my friend, I just want to pass through your place and just chill for a moment. Ah, yeah, no, I can't, I'm actually not around, hey? And the person's like plonk on their couch in the living room and they're telling you they're not around. Oh, I'm not around, ish, I really feel, but so what are you gonna do, hey? Hi, may God deliver us from users that we find in our place. Another thing that users, or characteristic that users have, is they always have drama. They always have problems. They always have problems. Why is it that you never have problems as an individual? But the moment you affiliate yourself with somebody, problem meter skyrockets. Next thing, you are the messiah. You're the provider. You are You are the one, you're the problem solver. Let me put it that way. You're the problem solver. They always have drama in their lives and they always look to people. And when they finish using you and they realize that they don't have you, they've used as much as they can from you, they move on to the next person. When they've depleted that person, they bounce back, depending on the relationship that you have. This is probably on a friend's. Guys or users do that. If they have a main chick, they will have side chicks that can help them financially. Be very careful about that. Be very careful. And, the thing is with users as a tool, let me give you an example, ladies. This is a perfect example. When your nails grow, how far am I in? 36, that's not too bad. When your nails grow, what's the first thing you look for? Other than nail, like let's say if you want to cut them. So you'll go for a nail clipper. No? You'll clip your nails and you'll put the clipper back. Are you going to remember the nail clipper until your nails have grown again? No. So that's exactly what they do with you. I'm laughing because sometimes it's just so cruel the way these people have no emotions. Now, this is how they operate. So with you, they see you as a nail clipper. When their nails have grown and they're beginning to be problematic, that they can't function, there you are as Francis, nail clipper to the rescue. So they'll use you to clip, 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 clip their problems, then they discard you until those nails grow again, which is until their problems surface again. Then they remember, oh, I have a friend called Francis, the nail clipper. I just came up with that analogy now. It's crazy, but it makes the best sense. When your problem is solved, you will never, or when your nails are short, you will not think of a nail clipper. Why do you need a nail clipper when your nails are short? Why do you need a cash cow when you don't have a problem? That's what I'm driving at. Right. So they just get rid of you. It's sad, but it's true. Now, when you're in a relationship, in my case, say for instance, you house a guy, meaning he doesn't have a place to stay, and when you meet up with him and you bring him into your place, rent is your problem, utilities, which is your water, your electricity, or your gas, are your problem, feeding is your problem, perhaps a cable, DSTV, Fox, whatever you use, is your problem. When you house a person as a visitor, you make them comfortable as much as you possibly can so that they don't feel like they are inconveniencing you in your own house. So you'll provide everything that they need to make them comfortable. This is supposed to be a temporary arrangement, but because it's relationships, sex is involved, emotions get twisted or misplaced. We mishmash everything. The guy no longer stays in your house for a specific period. He now stays there for good. Now, because you were housing him and you were providing for him, he is now taking it for granted that you're going to be doing this all the time. This is where the fights start. Where the users are good, I was talking about sex earlier on, is when the fights start. This is where he now lays with you in bed and gives you the best sex you could possibly have to probably numb your brain, or to at least get you to a point where you have temporary amnesia. It's a fact. Then time goes. Next thing you know, your high blood pressure seeps up again because you're thinking, you're not meeting me halfway, you're not doing one, two, three. And the fights start. And then what does he do? Nails you again in the bed. Or perhaps with the $100 that he has or the $10 that he has, takes you to, I don't know, Burger King, Popeyes, gets you a cheap meal, keeps you going, reduces your stress for a second. I want you ladies to now start identifying the patterns really quickly. Start picking out when the guy doesn't like you or when the guy is using you. Start picking up how he matches your giving to his giving. You must decipher that for yourself. You must crack that code and really realize, and not even ask him, I do for you more than you do for me. Even if you do tell him, it must be a conclusive statement to a decision that you are making that is best for you. Don't tell the person that they're doing this as if they don't know what they're doing and you still stay in it. They will only look at you as a big fool. Instead, make the decision, point the error, make the decision, and keep it moving as in out of their lives completely. Don't point the errors and still stay there. Because they'll be like, oh, if you're complaining so much, then why don't you just leave? Oh, you're an idiot. Then they'll continue using you. And you'll notice that, like I said, time will pass where they don't ask you for anything. And you'll be the one asking, don't you want this? Are you okay? Do you need a t-shirt? Do you need a pant? And, underwear? Do you need some boxers? Ugh, another story for another day. So without me babbling too much, I think this is going to bring me to the conclusion of people who use you, particularly in relationships. This is part of the experience I went through. And I hope that what I have given you is going to shed a lot of light to a lot of ladies. Sometimes it's different when a guy says it to say, ladies, look out for guys who are like this. But when a girl comes out or a lady comes out and tells you, this is what I experienced, it makes it more relatable. And this is what I'm trying to do, to be relatable. We need to expose the works of the devil. Now, I'm not saying go around and call these guys devils or demons and stuff like that. Not that I'm exempt from it, but that was stress, and that's a phase in your life where you're completely frustrated and the name calling comes in. No, don't call them devils, but we're exposing the works of the devil. This is what I'm doing. And this is what we should all be doing, exposing the works of the devil. Manipulation is the number one gift of the devil on all spectrums. Avoid being manipulated, ladies. Learn the science quick. Be the ones that sit on the top of a mountain like an eagle and really have an eagle's eye. An eagle, and what you call this, an aerial view of your situation in totality. Don't be in denial. Don't leave out situations. Don't justify. Yeah, it's because he doesn't have a job and this because not working. You deserve the best. You deserve a guy who will look after you. You deserve a guy who will provide for you. Let me tell you the difference in terms of a user and a guy who doesn't have a lot but is making his best. He will pay for something that is really important to you. So say, for instance, he doesn't have money to splash out perhaps on an expensive restaurant every now and then, but he can say, you know what, babe, perhaps I can pay your car every month, or perhaps I can do the groceries every month, or perhaps I could pay for the mortgage every month. This is probably, obviously, if you're husband and wife. Let him take a major responsibility off of your shoulders. Let him do that. Let him show his manliness in that aspect. You're supposed to, as men, this is now my cry to men. Men, we look to you as protectors. We look to you as providers. We look to you as the heads of, as symbols of authority in the house. But unfortunately, some of our brothers out there, or your brothers as men, they completely throw out the definition of what a man is. And a lot of us as women are playing mothers to these men, and we're reinforcing their behavior, and it's not good. It's toxic because we are crippling the society. We are crippling the world at large. Not good. Not good. And especially if he's like if he's a boyfriend and who's playing a stepdad role to your kid, which he really shouldn't be. Be very careful what your kid, especially a boy, actually doesn't even matter what sex it is, what role model it is you're giving your children in the form of a boyfriend. Be very careful. Women, be very careful. It's very important. That's a topic I think I'll cover on another day, that the man that you pick is a role model for your children, born and unborn. And you need to be careful what you pick as a role model. It's important. And if you really haven't thought about it, ladies, it's questions you should be asking yourselves. What do I want as a role model for my father, for my son, for my daughter? Does the man I hang around with exude that type of behavior that I want my son to emulate or I want my daughter to learn from? So, yeah, I think this brings me to a close of my chapter on people who use others. This is Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien, healing one heart at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to comment, it's really important. I'd like to really interact with you. And I look forward to catching up with you on the next episode right here on this channel. For now, I'm signing out.